Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Review. Vogue. Hi. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. My name is Candace, and I'm your host. Thank you for joining me. I thank you so much for joining me for another episode of What the Smut. I don't even know where to begin with today's episode. First of all, let's not talk about my hair because it's a joke, as you can see. The book that we're here today to review, I don't have the physical book with me because I bought it. It's on its way. But I could not wait for it to get here before doing the review because I needed to purge this book from my brain immediately. Because the plot was essentially like Inception, but in book form. So much plot. Plot inside of plot inside of plot. And oh, you think the plot's over? It's not. It's not, bitch. Here, have more plot. Plot twist, another plot twist, right? Okay. So, we gotta do it today. I gotta do it today. I should have done it yesterday, technically, but I ran out of time. So, we're doing it today. So, kids, in today's video, we will be attempting, and I say attempting, because you know me. We will be attempting to review this book, which is Sicko by Amo Jones. I'm going to immediately stop you with a trigger warning. Stop. Pump your brakes, bitch. Trigger warnings. This book is considered dark romance, and I don't mean like, oh, it's a little bit of dark. No. This book will push the boundaries of what you think dark romance is. This book pushed my boundaries of what I thought dark romance was. And if you have any triggers when it comes to rape, sex trafficking, child abuse, domestic violence, and any of these things, do not read this book. Or go into it knowing that these triggers exist for you and that they're in there. Okay? So you've been warned. They're in there. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the details of the book. This book is currently free to read with KU if you have Kindle Unlimited. If you don't know what Kindle Unlimited is, I explain it in literally almost every video. I'll do like a quick little synopsis of what KU is. Okay. If you have a Kindle device purchased through Amazon, you can sign up for Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited is Amazon's version of like a virtual library where you can check out digital copies of books delivered to your Kindle device. You can read them and then you return them to Kindle Unlimited and you check out more books. The end. It's a monthly subscription. I think it's like $10-ish a month. If you sign up for a longer duration of time and pay in advance, you might save a few dollars, not a lot. So if you go month to month, it's about the same shit. Okay, there you go. There's KU. Free to read with KU. If I'm not mistaken, almost all of her books are free with KU. So there you go. You have that information. if you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can do so for the price of $3.99. If you would like to purchase the trade paperback, and when I say trade, I don't mean the little mass market joints that are, what is it, like 6 inches or whatever? No, the big joints, the big fatties, the big chodes, like $18. This trade paperback has 2 covers that you can choose from. The original cover, which is very nice. It's stunning to look at. There's also an alternate cover. I don't know if it's like a limited edition or if it was just an alternate that she did that's like a graffiti style cover, which is stunning. Stunning. I ordered that one. Okay. So also $18. They're both the same price. If you want this book in hardcover, keep in mind, this is a printed hardcover from Amazon because if I'm not mistaken, Amo is self-published. So she publishes through Amazon. These books are printed on order from Amazon. So they're not pre-printed. They're made to order when you buy them. So they take a couple of days and then they're shipped out. When you get the hardcover from Amazon, it will not come with a dust jacket. It will just be a printed hardcover on the cover of the book. So keep that in mind. If you want that though, I believe it's $29.50. Sorry, I have an itch. $29.50 for the hardcover for this. Hardcover? I bet that would look good on your shelf too. Okay. This book's also available in audio if you're interested in the audio. I listened to some of the audio for this because I kind of do like generally speaking, I try and do like a half-half situation where I'll read at night after I put my daughter to bed. I'll read on my Kindle. And then during the day while I'm 9 to 5ing it, or if I'm in the car, I'll listen to audio. So I did do some audio. And the audio for this book is pretty good. It's pretty good. Side note, the narrator, the male narrator who voices Royce, the main male character, is the same narrator who voiced Christian for The Maddest Obsession by Danielle Laurie, who, if you guys know, he's my book husband. So when I heard his voice in this audio, I melted into a puddle of goop immediately. I was just like, oh my God. Okay. So the audio is very good. I'll just say that. So yeah. So those are the book deets. Let's read the blurb and then we're going to attempt to break it down. This book does have a lot of dark elements in it. It's also got some taboo elements because it's like a step sibling / foster sibling type situation. You know what I mean? Since I don't have the book, I had to revert back to old Candace and do like a deet sheet type situation. In addition to, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is what I've been reduced to. This is what my brain has reduced me to. I understand that the majority of what I write down is probably not necessary. It's not needed for the review. And this is why I've cursed myself, because I'm writing down things that are probably unnecessary. And then I add them into the review, which basically I'm telling you everything about the book. I might as well just get on here and literally read you the book. I'd probably spend less time reading you the book than actually doing the review. That's why my videos are an hour and a half. This is why my videos are an hour and a half. But if I don't do this, I will literally forget everything because my brain is literally on auto delete, and I can't, when I intake new information, it just deletes old information. And so as soon as I finished this book, I started a new one, and so it started like auto deleting the plot to this book. And I was like, fuck, I gotta sit down and record, because if I don't, it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be completely gone. So here we are, kids. So let's do the blurb. It's actually extremely short, so bear with me. All right, ready? So the blurb for this one says, he was my foster brother. He swore to protect me. He failed. They all failed. I'm an open box of passé photographs, snapped in chaste daylight, but filtered in sepia? Is that how you say that? Sepia? I'm the past that he tried to forget, and he was the future I needed. When he left 4 years ago, I screamed for him every night, but then it all stopped. My screams were suddenly muffled by cruelty and further coaxed by pain. But he has come back. He's not the cute big brother I had a furtive crush on, or the bad boy, rich brat that I hated to love. He's the ruthless vice president of Wolfpack MC, and he doesn't answer to Royce Kane anymore. He answers to Sicko. Okay. Here we go. The two main characters for this book are Jade and Royce. Jade and Royce grew up in the same household. Both raised as brother and sister by rich, extremely rich, wealthy parents. Socialite type parents. Surrounded by socialite type friends, private schools, etc., etc. Overprivileged, right? However, Jade is not their biological child. She believes that she was adopted, that she was basically dropped off at an orphanage, and that her parents adopted her from said orphanage. However, the truth of the matter is that she was dropped off on their doorstep, and then they went through the process of legally adopting her, even though technically they told her the story that they went to the orphanage to get Royce a baby brother, and they came home with her instead. Okay, that's the story they've led her to believe. She's grown up with Royce. She's been the tag-alonger, right? Royce has two best friends growing up, Orson and Storm. Both also from very wealthy and influential families. Their parents are on like the Forbes top whatever wealthy people of whatever, right? Okay. So, they've grown up together. He's always treated her, I guess the way a big brother would treat a little sister, like picks on her, kind of with disdain, but also overprotective. And whatever Jade wants, Jade gets. That's my little sister. She goes where I go, right? So she has been like the fourth wheel, the fourth wheel of their little group of friends since as long as she can remember. One day they go to a party on like this boat. They take the family boat out to an island owned by Orson's family, where there's like a boathouse and like, just everybody, all the elite rich kids go there. They're having a party. Royce gets into a fight with another dude who talked shit about Jade. Storm and Orson wake her up and are like, we got to get back to the mainland. Let's go. Royce got into a huge fight. He literally almost beat this kid to death. We need to get out of here. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? So they get down to the boat and she sees him and she sits with him until they get back to the mainland. And as they're about to get off the boat, she realizes that he's bleeding. And when she looks down, he's been stabbed. He's basically been stabbed in the gut. He gets rushed into surgery. And he almost dies. So shortly after that, he just ups and disappears for no apparent reason. She comes downstairs one night and she's still in high school. She's like a freshman in high school. And Royce is 4 years older than her, I think. Roughly 4 years older than her. He has graduated. He's getting ready to go to college. And they have plans to leave to go to college, the three of them, the boys. However, one night she comes downstairs and there's police at her house and her parents are in the living room. And she's like, what's going on? And her mother looks at her and says, Royce is gone. His room has been ransacked. He's disappeared. And from that point on, she can't find him. He never comes back. Like, he doesn't come back home. He's disappeared. So she basically cries herself to sleep for the next year, waiting for him to come home, and he doesn't. She falls down a rabbit hole of drugs and alcohol and partying and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And her life becomes a misery. She starts... God, I don't know if I should... Oh, God. How am I going to explain this? I'm trying to do it in the order that you find out in the book, as opposed to in chronological order, the way it happened. Which is the way I want to fucking explain it, Amo. But I can't, because I want to also do it in the way that it happened in the book. Why did you do this to me? You bitch. Okay. With all due respect, you bitch. So, fast forward 4 years later. She's getting ready to go to college. She's going to UCLA. They live in San Francisco. And she's getting ready to attend college with her best friend Sloan, who's going to college in LA. She can't wait to get away. She hates that city. She hates San Francisco. She comes home one day and she finds her mom baking in the kitchen. It's Royce's birthday, which is typically a bad day for her, because traditionally on his birthday, her and her mom would bake him a cake. And it would be like a thing. It was like a family thing. So she comes home and she finds her mom in the kitchen baking. And she's like, what are you doing? And she goes, Royce is coming home. And the world drops out from under her. What? He called and he's coming home. And she's like, immediately, she gets angry, pissed off. who the fuck does this guy think he is, disappearing for 4 years and then just dropping back in like he owns the joint? So she gets mad. And she goes upstairs and she's like, fuck him. I don't even want to see him. Fuck him. So all of a sudden she's upstairs. She hears the engine sounds of a motorcycle. Her mom calls her downstairs. She reluctantly goes downstairs. The guy that walks into their house is not the same guy she remembers that left 4 years ago. He's gone from being a preppy, rich, playboy type guy, still with a dark side. Like, he was still into some shit, but it was like a tame, overprivileged, wild type shit. Now he's huge and bulky and tatted, and he's wearing a motorcycle club vest and driving a bike and looking really scary. And he doesn't, he's just there. He doesn't appear to be there for a reason. And she's like, what the fuck do you want? Like, why are you here? And he won't give her a straight answer. He doesn't want to, he's being very cryptic, basically. So after that, he just continues to pop up. She goes off to college. Her mom drives her to UCLA. He shows up there. Him and a few of his biker buddies show up the day she gets dropped off for college. And he claims to be there to keep an eye on her at college. Boy, get the fuck out of here. So she's like, I didn't need you for 4 years. Why the fuck do I need you now? Okay. So she's pissed, and she stays pissed for a long time. And she fights that. She fights him tooth and nail for the majority of the first part of the book. Like the first half of the book, she's fighting him. And he's being very weird about why he's there and what he wants. He says at one point that his club has made a lot of enemies and that they would use his connection to her and use her to get to him. And so he's there to keep an eye on her and make sure she stays out of trouble, and therefore doesn't get him into trouble. Really? Really, boy? Okay. Okay. So one night shortly after she gets to college, she gets a text message. Is it a text? She either gets a text message or a phone call, I can't remember, from a mysterious guy by the name of James. And it was at this point in the book where I literally was like, who the fuck is James? I had to go back and skim through and look and see if I missed who this James character is. I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, I don't remember a James. Who is James? Was that the name of their dad? Was that his first name? No, his first name was Kyle. What? Who the fuck is James? Okay, that was me for like 20 minutes. Until I asked somebody else who's read the book. And they were like, no, she hasn't revealed who James is. So, this mysterious James character basically says, I'm coming to pick you up. I need you. And she's just, okay. So she goes downstairs and he picks her up in this like blacked out windowed SUV. And she gets in. And she goes with him to a high-priced hotel room where he basically rapes her. And at that point, we find out that this mysterious James has been raping her in one way or another since literally right after Royce left 4 years ago. So I'm like, oh, okay, oh my God, okay. So it's become a routine for her now that this is a thing. She's told no one. She hasn't gone to the authorities because whoever this man is extremely powerful and has connections, has money, and has made her terrified to tell anyone that he's doing this to her. But the stuff that he's done to her is terrifying. Terrifying. Okay. Just terrifying. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Terrifying. Okay. One of the visits that he takes her on, he takes her to this private club called L'artisanat, which I guess is French. And it's, the way that it's set up is there are multiple levels to the club, like multiple stories. And this, whatever story you go to, the higher the story, first of all, the more it costs to get in, or the more you pay. And the more kinkery is involved. So the lower the number, the more sedate the fuckery is. The higher the number, the more crazy shit is going to get done to you, right? So he takes her in. They're blindfolded, or like they're masked, right? So no one knows who anyone is. And he takes her in. She's dressed to the nines. She's looking pretty hot. She's looking fly. And he says, "You have free reign. We're only on the first level. You have free reign." And he essentially pushes her into a room where everything is dark and you can't see anything. But she knows instinctively that there's someone else in the room with her. But she doesn't know who it is. And during this scene, there's 2 men in that room with her. And this is the first time that she's done anything for James or involving James in any way where it doesn't feel like it's forced. She actually is sexually responding to what's happening to her in a positive way. Like she wants it. So she feels like a connection to both of the men that are touching her. More so to one than the other, but she feels a connection to both of them. And spoiler alert, in this scene there is double penetration. So if you're into that, there's some of that in here. So yeah. So she walks out of that literally a train wreck. Like she's a dish towel. Like she's been used. Okay. But in like a good way. And she's already thinking, when is the next time I can come back here? But I can't ask James to bring, I don't want to seem too eager because then he'll get pissed off and he'll take it out on me and he'll fuck me up, right? So later on, she goes to a house party. She's having a little bit too much to drink. Royce shows up and is like, we're going back to my clubhouse. And she's like, no, I just wanted to, she has almost like a panic attack. She has to get out of that house where the party is. And she starts to like literally run back to her dorm room. He catches her and is like, we're going back to my clubhouse. And she's like, nah. And she basically puts up a fight in the middle of this front yard. And she punches him right in the face in front of all of his dudes, which immediately like sets her reputation through the roof because nobody talks to him like that. No, he's the vice president of his motorcycle club, of his MC. And there is a side character. Who's like his right-hand go-to guy who goes by the name of Wicked. Amo, if you're watching this, I know you're not because you don't care about me, I know. And my video gets like 12 views. I'm inconsequential. But if you are watching this by some miracle of God, I need Wicked's book. Write me a chapter or two. I'll wait. I'll take that for now. If you give me just a few chapters at a time, I'll take it. I'll beta read a few chapters at a time for you. Give them to me, please. I need them. So his friend Wicked apparently only talks to a few select people. Otherwise, he does not speak. He's very like stoic and scary and deadheaded. Like, but when they first meet, he looks at her in a weird way. Like they share like some kind of unspoken connection with each other. And she doesn't really know what it is, but she feels drawn to him. And he feels the same way. So he starts like, he gets her phone number and he starts sending her text messages. And they start like talking to each other. He will actually speak to her. But not in like a creepy way. Like he's not going behind Royce's back and like trying to hit on her or whatever. But he does feel a connection to her. And if it was up to Royce, I think he would bang her. Like he would want something with her. But Royce is like, no. So she knocks Royce out. Not knocks him out because he's like a fucking tank, but she pops him one in the face. And all of his guys are like stunned. You don't hit Sicko in the face. You don't disobey Sicko, period. The fact that she's doing this just gave her street cred, like ridiculous amount of street cred. Finally, he pins her down and puts her on the back of his bike and takes her back to the clubhouse where she meets like all of his MC family and realizes that she feels more connected to these people than she has ever felt with her own actual family. And so she starts spending time with these people, texting like certain members of the club and calling, you know, that kind of thing. But while she's there, she makes a few comments to the president of the MC, Lion. She makes a few cryptic comments that lead him and especially Wicked, who's just kind of always standing off to the side, watching and listening to everything that's happening. Like he's always there. He's always there lurking. And she makes a few comments that lead him to believe that someone's hurt her. That her life hasn't been as picturesque as Royce may think it was after he left. because Royce is under the impression that when he left, aside from obviously her being upset that he left, that she went on with her life and that she's been fine. And Wicked's like, no, something's up with her. Something's happened to her. And he starts to suspect that somebody has hurt her. He doesn't know how yet, but he thinks he knows something's happened. So while all of this is going on, Royce has been getting these weird cryptic videos from almost like an anonymous person who goes by the name K Diamond. This K Diamond person is essentially taking credit for a shit ton of trafficking, women trafficking, rapes, murders, etc., that's been going on for years. And he's famous for sending videos to people who have something that he wants, whether it be money, whether it be whatever. And he sends them these cryptic messages. And if they don't pay him within a certain amount of time or give him what he wants in a certain amount of time, he will kill or kidnap someone they care about. Their daughter, their mother, their sister, whoever. And rape them, turn them into the sex trafficking ring, sell them to someone else, whatever. So Royce has been getting videos of a brunette girl who's clearly been taught to be like a submissive captive. It never shows her face, the videos. In it, she's wearing like a bunny mask. And obviously K Diamond is disguising his voice and taunting Royce. And basically just saying like how pretty the girl is, blah, blah, blah. And he never actually says what it is that he wants. So Royce is thinking to himself, I don't know who the fuck this girl is. I'm not paying him anything. I'm not giving him anything. I'm just gonna ignore it. But of course, K Diamond is like, oh, if you ignore my messages, I'm just gonna up the ante and I'm gonna fuck up more of your stuff. So he's been getting these cryptic videos for weeks. In each one, the punishment and or torture of this young brunette girl is escalating. And one night, James calls Jade to pick her up. He picks her up and takes her to a hotel room, as per usual. And when she gets there, it's usually when James takes her to the hotel room and rapes her, he does so in a very slow, systematic fashion, almost as if he's attempting to make love to her. And because of that, she can't stand gentle sex of any kind. It feels too intimate and too much like what she gets with him. So she's now rebelled in the opposite direction, to the point where she needs pain in order to have intimacy, if that makes sense. So James takes her to the hotel room. When she gets there, she sees that he has set up video equipment in one area of the hotel room. And she's like, oh, okay. She doesn't really know what's going on, but she does as she's told. And he basically, she sees a spreader bar which he's used before, like on her, like spread her legs, whatever. She gets down, she does what she's supposed to do. He ties her up. And she sees him come out of the bathroom wearing like black robes and like a necklace with like a pendant on it that looks like a diamond. And at this is the point where my head was about to pop off my shoulders. And I literally got on Instagram and I messaged my 2 friends who recommended this book to me. Can you hear that fucking bird outside? Goddamn bird. Rude much? I'm trying to record. So at this point, I messaged my 2 friends who recommended this book to me. And I was like, oh my God, James and Kay Diamond are the same person? Are they the same person? And they just started laughing hysterically because they love seeing me being tortured. So I'm freaking out. And he comes out wearing this, and he's got a ski mask on, and he's starting to record this video, and he's disguising his voice. And he proceeds to rape her with the spreader bar. And she's screaming. Like, it's very traumatic it was traumatic for me to read. Like, I don't have triggers. I'm not triggered by anything. I have things that I read that I can go, no, I'm not into that. Or, I don't care for that. That's not my thing. Like, I can do that. But I don't read something where I go and I think about it later like it plagues me. So I wasn't worried about that. But while reading it, I was going, oh God. And I guess that's the mark of a good author, the fact that I was literally repulsed that this was happening to this girl. And he's recording this video and sending it to Royce, because the girl in the videos is Jade, and Royce has no idea. And so afterwards, she was told previously that Royce wanted to see her later that night, and that he demanded that she be dropped off after her business meeting at the clubhouse. She's in no state. She can barely fucking walk now. So she gets dropped off at the clubhouse, and on the way home later that night, because she goes back to Royce's place with him. On the way home, Wicked is driving them home. And she happens to see on the back of his neck, his collar pulls down while he's driving. And she happens to see the brand, the same brand that she has on her ankle of the diamond that represents Kay Diamond, that he puts on all of his victims that he's trafficked in some way, or that he's sold, or whatever in some way. And it's at that point that she recognizes who he is. And she knows that she's known him before. And of course, she doesn't tell him. She doesn't tell Royce. She doesn't tell Wicked that she knows who he is. And that she knows that he was a victim of Kay Diamond's as well. Because she knows she thinks if she tells Royce the truth about what's happening to her, that he won't want her anymore. And right now they're at a point in their relationship where they're starting to admit their feelings for each other, where they're moving past the taboo-ness of you're my foster sister, I'm your foster brother. What we feel can't be a thing. They're moving past that into the territory of we don't give a shit. That's irrelevant. We're not blood related. And I've wanted you. We've wanted each other our whole lives. Fuck this. We're just going to do it. They're moving into that territory. And she thinks that if she tells him that this has been happening and that all of the things that James has made her do for the last 4 years, whether it be have sex with him, have sex with other men, have sex in public, have sex, all of these things, these dirty, filthy things that he's forced upon her, that Royce will see her as like garbage and that he'll cast her aside. So she's scared and she doesn't want to tell him. But she knows at some point she has to. So she's just basically putting it off. So right around that time, after she sees the tattoo, we get like a flashback scene. And it's at this point in the book where we find out the reason that Royce left 4 years ago. And it has to do with K. Diamond himself. Everything that happened because of Jade. So essentially, the flashback scene shows the three of them, Royce, Orson, and Storm, being kidnapped, waking up in a room, they were restrained or if they were, they were restrained, okay. So with their hands tied together in front of them, and a voice comes through the speaker that says essentially, hey, my name's K. Diamond. All of you had plans to go off to college soon, within the next month. You're gonna leave for college early. You're gonna leave. You're not gonna come back. You're gonna go ahead with your plans as if nothing's changed. I'm gonna be keeping tabs on you. And if you stray from your path, I'm going to, the consequences will be me taking Jade. I will take her and I will basically turn her into my sex slave. I'll take her. I'll rape her. I will basically pimp her out to other people. And by this time, Royce is terrified because he talks a big game. And if it involved anyone other than Jade, he would have fought back. But the fact that the guy brought up Jade, he doesn't like that. So they're like, okay. So a knife drops from the ceiling and they're able to cut their bonds. And when they exit the room, they realize they're on a boat. They have to swim for shore. K. Diamond has told them that when they get home, there will be a packet on each of their beds with proof of what he's told them, that he can back up his claims of what he's going to do. And sure enough, when Royce gets home, there's a packet on his bed. So he knows that this man can get into his house and get to him at any time. So after another conversation with Storm and Orson, where they basically just pump each other up, they decide, fuck this guy. No, we're gonna go to the authorities, and we're gonna let our parents handle it. My dad, Royce is like, my dad has the police in his pocket. We're gonna take care of this. Fuck him. Fuck this K. Diamond dude. So they go to Royce's dad, Kyle Kane. They tell him everything that happened. His dad is like, oh, don't worry. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna go to the authorities. We're gonna find out who it is. Nothing's gonna happen to Jade. Don't worry. They trust him, so he's gonna take care of it. They get taken again. And this time, when they wake up from being drugged and kidnapped, there's another boy in the same room with them, about the same age as them, who has clearly been there for longer than they have, or been in the lifestyle longer than they have, and tells them, you're not going to get out. You have to do what he says. Otherwise, whoever this person is that you're trying to protect is gonna die, or is gonna get taken. And finally, they realize they don't have a choice. They have to leave. And that's why Royce just disappears for 4 years. When he leaves, he has nowhere to go. He doesn't know what he's doing with his life. He didn't plan this. He just had to go. So he stops at a gas station, and he's this girl, this woman, petite woman, dark hair, with a hoodie pulled up, approaches him. There's something about her. She looks familiar. Like maybe I know her from somewhere. But no, I don't think I do. But she does look familiar. And she comes up and she suggests, hey, you look like a wayward soul who could use some help. You should go to this bar. They take in people like you. You might find some like-minded souls there. And he's like, okay, weirdo. But he goes, and he walks into the middle of a gunfight between a chapter of a motorcycle club and some Colombian drug lords. The Colombian drug lords have the guns blazing. They're all guns blazing. He ducks down. He's like, motherfucker, I'm getting ready to die because this girl sent me over here. And when the gunfire dies down, he sees that the drug lord, one of the drug lords, has this old man or older man held at gunpoint with his hands above his head. And Royce pulls out his gun and shoots the guy in the head and saves the old man's life. The old man turns out to be Lion, the president of the MC. Immediately, Royce is patched into the MC. And the rest is history, basically. So that's how he came to be in the MC. So we don't find out that last bit until later on. That wasn't part of the flashback scene, but it was I'm on a roll, so I just figured I would tell you that. Chronologically speaking, it wasn't part of that flashback scene, but the boy that they met when they got taken the second time was wicked. He came into the MC later on and patched in. And they've been inseparable ever since because they went through some traumatic shit together, obviously. So back to present day, James calls Jade again to go back to the sex club, Letizia. When she gets there, they're in the elevator, and she's not masked up yet. They're getting ready to put on their masks, and they're in the elevator and they're going past level 1. She's hoping that she's going to get to go back to the same room she was in before, because she's hoping she runs into the two guys. No. They bypass level 1, and then level 2, and then level 3, until finally the doors open on level 4. She steps out into a room that is like a large lounge that has like a dance stage in the center with like a stripper pole, basically, and couches and a bar. And there are 4 men lounging on the couches. And James has put her mask on and goes out and tells her that she basically has to dance for them. She uses her phone for the music to dance. She lays her cell phone down on the floor of the dance floor, and she begins to dance for these guys. They're all wearing like bandanas over their faces, so she can't see who they are. They have hoods pulled up, like hoodies and things, and the bandanas. So all she can see are their eyes. So she begins to dance, because she's done this for James before. She begins to dance. One of the guys comes up behind her, and she realizes that it's the same guy from level 1, the last time. The one that she had the stronger connection to. The strongest connection to. And then a second guy comes up. And that's when she starts to get really into it. They take her top off, etc., etc. Right? So she's in her bra and she's in her underwear, whatever. And then all hell breaks loose. Someone yells out, "Stop. Get the fuck away from her." She looks up and she sees holding her phone. Her cell phone. He comes up and he pulls off her mask. And she's like, "What the fuck?" He then rips off his bandana and his hood, and it's Royce. He recognized her phone, and that's how he knew it was her. After unmasking the other 3 people, it turns out to be Wicked, Storm, and Orson. James makes a run for it because Royce is wigging the fuck out. So at that point, he demands to know who James is. She refuses to tell him because she still doesn't want to reveal that whole mess. He thinks that that's like her boyfriend, that she has a secret boyfriend. And he's like, "I don't even fucking know who you are anymore. Like, your boyfriend makes you do these things? Dancing for other men and having sex with other men? Who are you? You're not the sweet, innocent little girl that I left behind 4 years ago." Like, "No, bitch, I'm not." But he has no idea. He has no idea. Later on, her and Royce have sex for real. This shit is hot. They go back to the clubhouse and Lion calls like a church meeting. I think that's what they call it. They call church. It's like a meeting of all of the MC men, the men clubhouse meeting, because someone has killed a member of the Colombian cartel. And they did it using Royce's signature his killing signature, which, by the way, there's a reason why they've nicknamed him Sicko. he takes a knife and he splits the skin, cuts the skin from the skull all the way down half of the body, all the way back up, and then peels the flesh off of half of it's fucking disgusting. So someone has done that to a member, like a capo of the cartel, and framed him like a copycat. And so now the cartel is out for blood, and a war has been started with the MC. So Lion is briefing them on all this at this church meeting. Because of that, they decide to go into like lockdown mode and bring in all of the immediate family for all of the club members into the clubhouse. So everybody's on lockdown within the club compound. During the lockdown, someone drives by and open fires through like the front gate area, and shoots Bonnie, which is Lion's wife, and kills her in the middle of like the driveway garage area. And during that havoc that's happening, Jade, who, by the way, was going to school planning to be a doctor, all of that is happening. Jade tries to help. She can't. She's in shock. She goes upstairs. By this time, she still has not gotten any messages from James. After what happened at the club, she expected to get a call or a text. She hasn't gotten, it's been radio silence from him. And she knows the longer that he goes without messaging her, the more trouble she's going to be in. She has like PTSD. She's terrified of him. The longer that she goes without hearing from him, the more he's going to make her hurt when she finally meets up with him. So finally, her phone goes off. And it's a message from him with a picture of Sloane, where he has taken Sloane. And he basically says, be outside in 4 minutes. The club's on lockdown. She's not supposed to leave. But she books it. And she jumps into his car, and they take off. Because she's not just going to leave her friend willy-nilly, right? So she goes with him to save Sloane's life. So he takes Jade to like an apartment complex that he owns and has set up where he sells the girls that he takes. This is an entire apartment complex. Like, he's doing all of this. He's not doing it low key. He's doing it out in the open, hiding in plain sight. And he's set up this apartment complex with like underground space where he can sell these girls routinely at like these auction parties and these things. So Jade is familiar with this entire apartment complex. She knows every inch of this place. She's been there many times. She is the only girl that he has ever allowed to come and go freely from his enterprise, because he trusts her to not say anything, because he's literally conditioned her to the point that she's like his pet, that she's not gonna rat him out. So she goes in and she sees Sloane, and Sloane is scared but doesn't appear to be any worse for wear, right? So she starts trying to devise a way to get Sloane out. She knows there's a back exit, that James can use that's like his own personal escape hatch. If she can get Sloane there, then they can run. James's number 2, a guy named Isaac, is there and is like escorting her through the place. And she's trying to devise a way to get away from him, basically. So she's looking for an escape hatch, or she's looking to get Sloane out. Isaac basically prevents that from happening. James sets it up to send another video to, or like I guess like more like a FaceTime call to Royce. He calls Royce, who is out with Wicked. And he, in the video, reveals that basically that the girl in the video is Jade. Royce sees her eyes and he knows that it's her. And he loses it. Like, he just immediately starts breaking shit. Like, anger management issues much? Yeah, big time. And it's at that moment that all of the color leaves Wicked's face. And he realizes that he knows Jade from before they met, when she came to college. That when he was taken by K Diamond, that right after Royce left, she was brought in as a girl, as a young girl, and that she was brought in and he was made to do things to her, terrible things to her, under the threat of death by K Diamond. And now he's swamped in guilt. He knows he didn't have a choice, and he tells Royce that I didn't have a choice. And Royce understands. He's still angry, but he understands. But he still feels immeasurable guilt because of that. And he tells him that K Diamond has been doing this to her since right after you left. She came in literally right after you left. And that's when Royce realizes that I left for nothing. The threat of, I'm gonna hurt your sister if you don't leave, was an empty threat, because you hurt her anyway. The minute I left, you took her and you fucked her up. So all this time that I could have been with her, protecting her, I wasn't there, and you fucked her up anyway. So he's out for blood now. And so he has one of the other, I think they're called, what are they called? Pledges? Or they're not pledges. They're prospects. That's the fucking word, is prospects. He has, why am I wheezing? I'm having a fucking asthma attack. This book is giving me a goddamn asthma attack. Okay. Royce has one of the prospects, Slim, who he had Jade follow. He had Slim following Jade around for a hot minute. He has Slim, who's like a little techie genius, a little hacker guy, trace the call from James to the apartment complex. So now he knows where they are. They storm the building right about the time that James is getting ready to fuck Jade up royally. So Wicked, Royce, and a bunch of the other brothers just come in guns blazing. James makes a run for it. James, aka K Diamond, makes a run for it. Jade gets saved. Royce won't even look at her. She's thinking to herself, why are you treating me this way? Do you think I asked for this? Like, I didn't go with him willingly. I didn't want any of this. And he comes in and he basically says, it turns out that Isaac, K Diamond's number 2, is an undercover Fed and has been there working to take him down for a long time, for roughly 4 years. And they managed to catch James, still masked up, still hooded, but they catch him, they tie him up, and they've got him hogtied in the exit, his secret exit. Royce comes back in and is like, he won't even look at her, won't make eye contact with her. And she's like, why are you treating me this way? Why won't you look at me? Do you think I went with him willingly? Do you think I wanted any of this? And at one point, she gets angry and she says, do you think I asked to be raped by your father for the last 4 years? And his face goes ghost. Because he didn't know. They had not taken his mask, K Diamond's mask, off yet. And no one knew that K Diamond is actually Kyle Kane. And it sends Royce into a murderous rage. And he goes back into the exit and drags him in and takes his mask off and sees that it's his father. And he just breaks down. And Isaac tells him, listen, you've got 15 minutes before my people are going to storm in here. You have 2 choices. You can leave him here, stage a suicide. He dies here. In public, the public will know who he is, and all of this will come out. Or you can take him and torture him a bit and take the retribution that you need. And he chooses option 2. And they take him. They take him back to the clubhouse. Still tied up. They take him back to the clubhouse where they torture him for information. Where he reveals that Jade is actually okay, God. Here we go. Plot twist. Let the plot twists begin, okay? Where he reveals that Jade is actually the daughter of Lion, the club president, and what the hell was her name? Olivia, who was Lion's old lady, who was the daughter of one of the Colombian cartels, big bosses, way back in the day. And that Kyle was friends with Lion. Oh my God, all of this happens. Kyle and Lion were friends when they were younger, in a group of friends very similar to Royce, Storm, and Orson. And that Kyle was in love with Olivia. And she cared for him as well until she realized that he had a dark, sick side. And then she ran from him. And she got involved with Lion, fell in love with Lion, and Lion made her happy. So Kyle allowed her to stay with him. Until she became pregnant. When she got pregnant, with Jade, and Kyle found out, he went off the deep end and was going to do something drastic. And so she ran and she disappeared. And Lion, to this day, thought that she had run from him and that she had basically just died, that she was dead. And in actuality, she was not dead. She had given birth to the baby, and Kyle had taken the child and raised it as his own. And then she ran from him because she had no choice. She couldn't take Jade with her because Kyle was a psychopath. And Kyle raised Jade to be his Olivia 2.0 so that he could start over with a new Olivia and mold her into the sex slave he wanted. Gross. Okay. Most of it is divulged there. While he's there interrogating him and he's giving up little snippets of this, there's an explosion at the front gate of the compound of the clubhouse. During the explosion and the hubbub, he escapes again. Jade tells everybody that Kyle owned a submarine company and that his go-to escape place would have been at the naval base where he has his sub. Isaac manages to get them into the naval base. They find him there again. Royce leaves Jade behind at the clubhouse with the women. She doesn't stay there. The minute that he's gone, she dips. When they get there and they find him, they want to know who helped him escape. Who helped you? Who set off that bomb at the front of the place? It turns out to be Olivia, Jade's mom, who's alive and well and helped him escape. And then they reveal not only is she alive, but so is Wicked's sister, Poppy, who he thought had been taken by K Diamond and killed, which was the original reason why he was taken and agreed to work for K Diamond. She's alive and well. And while this revelation is going on, in walks Jade, who doesn't look at all surprised to see her mother, her biological mother. Plot twist. Bam! Another plot twist. Turns out Jade has been voluntarily living with this nightmare of a man and his sickness for 4 years so that she can systematically help underage girls escape his sex trafficking ring, beginning with Poppy, Wicked's sister, who was the first girl that she ever helped escape, or that she ever set free. Poppy and Olivia have formed a secret organization known as Anonymous, to help take down, via the internet, to help take down child pornography and sex trafficking all over the world. With the funding that has been given by the MC anonymously, without them knowing who they were giving the money to. Olivia, it also turns out that on the day that Royce left his home and stopped at that gas station, the woman that approached him and pointed him in the direction of the clubhouse, was Jade's mom. And the reason she looked so familiar was because her and Jade have such similar traits that he felt like a connection to her. And that's why he went to the clubhouse to begin with. And that's what kicked off his entire relationship with the MC. So, dear God, an hour and a half later. So Jade knew her mom was alive. She did not know that Lion was her father, was her biological father. Royce agrees to turn Kyle over to Isaac and the feds for him to go on trial and to basically get used, to get all of the information they can get out of him, to take down as many, with the help of Anonymous, the organization Anonymous, to take down as many child sex trafficking rings and child abusers as they can. All of the people who bought kids from him, they want to take down. He agrees to give them 9 months to get this done. If at the end of that 9 months, Isaac turns Kyle over to him and Lion and Jade, so that they can basically have their revenge against him and kill him. And Isaac agrees. And so they take him away, and fast forward 9 months later, or I think he agrees to 7 months, and then it takes 9 months. Fast forward 9 months later. Jade, I think I don't think it's really an epilogue, but like further down the line, Jade becomes pregnant. They have a baby, like a 1-year-old, so cute. Kyle gets released to them. Jade doesn't want anything to do with the torturing of him. She's had enough. She's had enough torturing. She leaves that to the dudes. Lion, Wicked, and Royce basically put him in a basement and peel his skin off slowly and torturously and disgustingly. Lion cuts his balls and dick off. It's very gross. And Wicked, to start off his punishment, shoves him full of nails all over his body, slowly and painfully. And then, to end it, to cap it off, Royce peels off half of his flesh. And then they let him die. After that, they let him die. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, yeah. So, that's pretty much the gist. They live happily ever after. Royce and Jade have a baby. A little girl. I forget her name. I don't ask me because I can't remember. And she's a cute little blonde-headed bundle of joy. And all of the fucked up shit that happened is in the past. And everybody's happy, and the MC family is all together. And Olivia and Lion end up back together because she was the love of his life before she disappeared. He loved Bonnie, but not in the same way that he loved Olivia. Olivia was the love of his life. So they get back together, and the end. And they all lived happily ever after. Can you say that to an Amo Jones book? I don't know. I don't know if that's appropriate, an appropriate ending to an Amo Jones book. This was my first Amo Jones novel. I don't know how soon I'll be able to read another, because I don't know how much time my brain will need to recover from this one. Because I literally had so many moments where I was just like, what is happening? What? So, yes. Anyway, for the rating for the book, I gave it a solid 9. I think, when something is so complex and difficult to process that you sit back going, I think I liked it, but I don't know if I can't say if I liked it or not. But then there are characters in the book that you want them to get their own books, and you want to know what happens. And so you would read more. Obviously, you want to read more. And you would keep going with the series. And so that must mean that you liked it. Right? Right? Oh my God. And I gotta buy the book. Right? Because I liked it. Right? The plot was good. It was so in-depth, and so, I like her writing style. I like the way she writes. I enjoyed the darkness of it, but again, it was so dark that maybe it was just a shock to my system, because it's probably the darkest novel I've ever read. So maybe just because I haven't gone that dark yet, it was like, whoa. And so I need time to process. But I think maybe once I read a few more of her books, it will become more norm, and then I'll be able to appreciate it more. And when I come back, maybe I'll do a reread, and I'll be like, fuck, that was an amazing book. Because it has the potential to be an amazing book. Does that make sense? Because the plot was there. It was well written, and it's there. So obviously I liked it. And I want Wicked's book. I'm not fucking joking about that. I need his book. He was integral. You know what I mean? He was crucial to this book. Every scene that involved him, I was like this. Yeah. No, point the thing back to Wicked. That was me. I need it. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you didn't get a quarter of the way into it and go, this bitch, this bitch is a dumpster fire, please consider subscribing. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And yeah, I think that's it. I did my best. I'm sorry. I did my best. My best isn't good enough, but I still did my best. Okay? I tried. But when you get into a book that an hour into reading and you don't know what's happening, how are you supposed to break that down? I don't know. I did my best. So, yeah. I think that's it. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Creepy hands. Bye. Good enough with the good enough with the good enough. Did I delete the last video on here? Because if I didn't, I'm gonna run out of storage in about 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure I did though. I think. God, I don't remember. I don't even fucking remember. Okay. 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 Dear God, Jesus in heaven. We're here today. Let's do our intro first because I can't even think straight. And we haven't even started. And that bodes ill. It bodes ill, people. Okay? Let's just start. All right, let me fuck with my hair for about 8 minutes. As you do. Okay. All right. Why does it says straighten, and yet, I need a haircut. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Wet my whistle. Wet my whistle. Candace, what's wrong with you? Okay. Whew. All right. Here we go. Okay. Fucking shirt. It's too tight. Okay. My screams were suddenly muffled by cruel and further coaxed by pain. No, wait. By cruel. What's wrong with you? He's not the cute big brother I had furtive You fucking moron. Okay. This K Diamond person. Yeah. And here we go. She's a cute little blonde-headed. Holy shit snacks. An hour and a half. It happens though. And I mean, for this one, it had to happen because I just couldn't, there's no way I could have broken it down in less time than that. So much plot. Oh my God, so much plot. I can't. Do you believe in magic? Every single time I drink from this cup, the song gets stuck in my head. maybe Walmart. Anyway, so there should not be any bloopers for this one. I mean, there probably will be, but I hope not, because it's just going to add to the runtime, and it's long enough. You've seen me enough. You don't need more. You don't need any more, right? You don't need any more of me, right? Okay. This is it? This is it? So satisfying to be done. And I've purged my brain. And trash. He's staring right at me. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you later. Bye. Clickety click, 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 clickety.